if you tuned in to watch the Pinoy comic turned Netflix hit series Trece, take a look at this mini version of the iconic supernatural detective. The series is debuting a Funko Pop for Alexandra Trese. Filbar's creative chief Ivan Guerrero and Trece co-creator Budjette are here to tell us more, together with Alexandra Trese. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining us on The Final Word. Ivan, let's start off with you. How did this project begin between Filbar's and the Alexandra Trese team?
Well, that's a long story, but I'll try to condense it.
Yes, Steve, condense it in less than 1 minute.
Yeah, Budjette and Kadjo have been longtime friends of mine. We've been wanting to do something with them, something exclusive for Filbars for many, many years now. Just so happens, Budjette was looking for some way to get a Trece Funko Pop produced. And we've been pitching the project, the idea to Funko for many years now.
So it's been a long process. And what do you think of this Alexandra Trese figure, Budjette? Did it live up to your expectations?
I love it, and I'm so envious that you're the first one to grab hold of it, Rico. I have to wait for a couple of weeks before I get my Trece Funko Pop.
Well, you're all the way in Denmark. How involved were you in the design of this Trece Pop?
It was a great collaboration with Ivan. Of course, Kadjo Baldissimo, my co-creator for Trece, is the artist. So, of course, Kadjo was more hands-on in terms of like making sure that we were able to keep, the little details that you see in the comic book and find a way to make it translate into a Funko Pop.
Well, you're seeing the box right now. Now, I've taken Alexandra Trese, the black and white and the common, out of their boxes. So, Ivan, let's get into the fine details of this pop. How many different draft drawings were there before it came to this final stage?
I think we went through like 3 to 4 different drafts before we got the final look of the character. There were so many little nuances we wanted to capture, especially from the comics. We wanted to really please the longtime fans of Trece. It's been around since 2005, so it's built quite a fan base.
It's very, very detailed, no? And
yeah.
I mean, for Alexandra Trese fans who are not Funko Pop fans, why do we have 2 variants? Why do we have a black and white?
Oh, yeah.
And why do we have a common?
So we decided to do a chase variant, a black and white chase variant, because the original comic book actually came in black and white. And, we have a lot of new Trece fans coming into the fandom recently, mostly because of the TV show. And they're actually a little surprised by the black and white variant. And I think it's great because it's a way for them to rediscover the comics where these stories originated from.
And of course, the black and white is the chase version, which is a limited edition. Budjette, what changes did you suggest from the first draft to the final version of this figure?
If I remember correctly, Ivan, I think the dagger, her sinag, of course, went through some changes, or we tried to make sure it came as close as possible to the comic book. And something that maybe fans might not know was the position of her hand was something that we went through several rounds, because I think originally she looked like she was in a kung fu pose. But Kadjo came up with a certain way of drawing it, and the guys were able to render it very well in the final figure, which just brought it closer to home on how would Trece react when there's an aswang about to attack her.
And Ivan, I'm quite curious, why is Budjette, who is a co-creator of Trece, only receiving his Alexandra Trese in a few weeks' time? Is this not being sold around the world? Is this Alexandra Trese only a Philippine exclusive and only sold in the country?
That's right, Rico. You can only get it at Filbars at the moment. We will see how else we can bring it to other fans around the world. But at the moment, you can only get it at Filbar store or through our website, shop.filbars.online.
And I'm sure, Budjette, you want your two versions of Alexandra Trese signed by Liza Soberano.
Absolutely. If we can get Liza and Shay Mitchell to sign it, that would be the dream come true. But I think we need to offer the Nuno a lot of chocolate or drink a lot of dragon's blood to open a dragon's gate to be able to meet up with them and get them to sign it.
And you know, the comic book was first released in 2005, and there have been 8 graphic novels and the Netflix series, which was very, very successful, Budjette. What is next for Trece? Everyone is waiting. What is the next chapter?
Oh, wow. Me and Kajo are, of course, always busy with the next comic book. We are hoping, still waiting for, news and approval from Netflix if we get the second season. So please continue to offer Chocnut to your local Nuno or local Netflix. And we would love to continue doing projects with Ivan and the Filbar's team. So let's see what the new year brings. Of course, depending on how people will react to the first Funko Pop.
I'm sure it will be very successful, especially Ivan with the large collector base here in the Philippines. I can just see on social media that everyone is excited to get their hands on Alexandra Trese, which will be sold this coming weekend. How popular, Ivan, are Filipino characters in Funko Pops?
There are not too many. There are a couple, but they're quite popular and they're worth quite a bit of money right now. I remember there was a couple of Manny Pacquiao Funko Pops came out a few years ago. There's also a set of mythological creatures, Aswang, White Lady, and the Shokoy, which are quite hard to come by. There are a couple more. Jollibee, of course, which was something that was launched by Filbars during a Comic-Con several years back. And I think recently there was a Darna Funko Pop that came out as well.
I'm sure Alexandra Trese will be an iconic Funko Pop and will be rare in the years to come. Thank you so much for joining us live from Denmark. Budjette Tan, the writer and co-creator of the comic series Trece, and Filbar's, of course, Ivan Guerrero.